could you just give me an overview of a problem you had that prompted you to search for a solution like crisis control?
We've always had a paper-based process where we've got binders for checklists for our emergency response team to follow in an emergency. We've got some kind of alarms to kind of alert and flashing lights. Bristow is a joint company of ours. They have engaged Crisis Control. That was what drove us as well.
What would be your main issue that you would use crisis control in?
Our main focus is as an aviation incident, we would launch an emergency response through Crisis Control, and that would engage the right people. That's the key focus for us.
So, hi Mick, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. As you know, we're putting together a case study of how Cougar Helicopters use crisis control. And I thought this would be a nice opportunity to just kind of highlight your everyday use of crisis control, the problems you had, how we helped you solve it.
No, that's great. Thanks very much for your time, Aneri.
Thank you. So just to start off, can you briefly explain what Cougar Helicopters does as a company?
So as a company, we are the main transport for offshore workers, oil and gas workers from St. John's in Newfoundland, right on the east coast of Canada. We transport them off to, we've got about four rigs out there, and we transport them to and from there. That's our main primary. We've also got our own second search and rescue facility that is there to support our helicopters offshore and are on standby, 24-hour standby to support that. They're also available should they be tasked and we are not got our own aircraft in the air. And if we do, we'll bring them back so that we don't have our concerns with our aircraft, and we'll go and do search and rescue missions as tasked by, say a joint response center.
Oh, wow. Then could you maybe just give me an overview of a problem you had that prompted you to search for a solution like crisis control?
Yeah, so it started, we've always had a paper-based process where we've got binders for checklists for our emergency response team to follow in an emergency. We've got some kind of technology that will communicate via text as the emergencies as occurred, to engage the right people that way, and also some kind of alarms and that go on the screens that in all the different like search and rescue center and a few other areas to kind of alert and flashing lights, beacons on the side of the hangar, for anyone out working on the airfield side. Bristow is a joint company of ours, and we know that they have engaged Crisis Control previously. I believe they've been with you for about 5 years.
Yeah.
So that was what drove us as well, was to try and find a better way of communicating and working together collaboratively in an efficient manner to expedite any emergency response efforts.
Oh, wow. So would you say that you're currently happy with how crisis control is serving you?
Yeah, no, very much so. I'm the prime for the project, and so I've been learning the system. I've been setting up all our processes with it. We've got training underway. We haven't quite launched yet. We've got a lot of testing to do prior to that, but it's very positive so far with what I've seen, and the capability of crisis control is impressive. Yeah.
Thank you. Then, okay, like you said, you haven't really started using it in a major crisis, but what would be your main, like an example of an issue that you would use crisis or incident that you would use crisis control in?
Yeah, so our main focus is as an aviation incident. If we had one of our helicopters, in distress, we would launch an emergency response through Crisis Control, and that would engage the right people. And with all the built-in advantages of checklists, tasks, timelines, the control panel, that sort of thing, control center, monitoring, getting real-time updates from the different team members. that's the key focus for us. But we are going to build into, events that could be just kind of your more everyday potential events. You could have a fire or for example, a flood or something like that, that we need to communicate quickly to members of our team to say, we need to evacuate an area, or, and provide constant updates for them to try and return back to business as usual as quickly as possible.
Thank you. And I know I work for Crisis Control, but I like the thing that you said of everyday events, because I know some of our customers also use it just to run tests, or if there's an update that needs to happen on a system, you can launch a ping and everyone instantly knows, and that's quite useful, I think.
Exactly.
So it's like mass boom, it's out there, you can see they actually read it, and it's not like, have you seen it? Have you seen it? So that's kind of cool to me.
Yeah, so we see the opportunity as well for the ping system, where we can, for example, if someone's on the way to work and there's been a car accident on the highway, which is a main transport route for our employees, so that we're not all delayed, we can, get a message out just to say, hey, avoid this area, and they can find alternative routes to try and get in on time, so we can keep business operations as, near as expected.
Yeah.
So, and the obviously the functionality of that is, we have everyone set up. We can just do a mass notification, or we can do it specific to a particular group. We can see people's location if we have it set up that way. But typically we will just communicate that out to those that are required, and we can see obviously whether they've seen it, acknowledged it, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of functionality that we can leverage.
I'm definitely happy to hear that. I really want to ask this question. So were there any regulatory or like compliance requirements that prompted you to have a system like Crisis Control in your industry?
We are regulated, and we do have certain requirements, but we have been able to meet those requirements through our current system. But this is just something that Cougar is always looking to improve the opportunity to, better in whatever we're doing. And obviously emergency, hopefully we never get that emergency that we prepare for, but at least if it does, we feel we're going to be in a better place.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And I mean, you are in a very, how can I say, the industry there is the risks, and you're in charge of people's lives and all of that. So that definitely makes sense.
Definitely. And, we're looking forward to kind of, we've already informed our customers as well that we're moving in this direction. So it'd be really exciting to actually, demonstrate, and, when we are up and running and fully tested, and, show some of the capability of the system through an exercise that we will be holding. So yeah, it's exciting.
I would love to hear the outcome of that when you have time in the future. That's exciting. Then just the last few bits and bobs. So how satisfied were you? I'm sorry if it's repetitive. I just need to make sure I get all of it. So how satisfied were you with essentially the sales process, the onboarding, the training, the whole experience of getting Crisis Control onto your system or within your team?
Yeah, no, very, very, very satisfied. I mean, Natasha's been excellent with regards to our full support, and, we've also got Hannah, who's been in the background, troubleshooting with us. Some of the issues were our own teething challenges, but for the most part, we have identified a couple of, asks that, can help, improve the system. And they've been resolved. They've been worked and a part of their recent updates. So it's great to see that, Crisis Control is certainly on board for listening to their customers, and, taking any feedback and making the updates where they see that they, important. So Yeah, and with regards to training, we did our training with our initial team. That was good. It was more for me, who's going to be kind of working with it, and then rolling out our own internal training so that is specific to the actual users. So the initial training was more about how the system works, which a lot of our emergency response team are not involved in. They're not set up as admin, so they are just need to have more specific training focused on their role within as the emergency response team, and how to use the system. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm happy to hear that so far you're happy, Mick, and thank you for sharing all of that with me. Is there anything else you would like to add about your experience or any hiccups you encountered?
No, I think it's been very, very positive, throughout. The response has been very timely, which is always nice. And, it's nice to see Crisis Control do listen to their customers and value the feedback, and, are prepared to make the changes that are of value to the customers.
Yeah, that I'm happy to hear that. And I mean, we try and pride ourselves in the sense that we're modular and with a yes attitude. So we always try, almost like a puzzle, fit in with you guys what you need.
Perfect. And that's going to grow your product too, right? And make it more successful for everyone. So
yeah. So thank you.